Clothing is a basic human need, making fashion an inevitable part of our daily lives. Although we do not have an accurate number of people who are into fashion designing in Nigeria, because more people spring up on a daily basis, we went out to see small startups and how they're able to thrive in this very big fashion industry. Welcome to Community Report on Channels Television. I'm Victoria Ido. On this edition of the show, we take a look at young female fashion designers in Lagos. Enjoy the ride. Fashion industry in Nigeria has always been diverse, reflecting its many ethnic groups, religions and culture. Recently, the Nigerian fashion industry developed more participants, exposure, structure, presence, earnings and training. People desire to look unique, impressive and stylish. Doing so requires the expertise of professionals who know the craft of making beautiful outfits. The beauty of every outfit is usually in the design and fitting. Although statistics of fashion designers are unavailable, we have a large number of female fashion designers trying to create a name for themselves in the fashion industry. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Again. Oyinda Olubajo, who read mass communication, is one of them. She decided to go into fashion because she did not get a job 3 months after she graduated.
Now, when my 3 months ultimatum was up, I asked myself, what exactly did I want to do? What exactly would befit me as in, And I told myself, okay, let's see what tailoring will give.
Now, the beginning of every outfit starts from the measurement.
You need a few basic measurements depending on the type of dress we're making. If it's not a contoured dress, you just need a bust, a waist, a hip, a full length, a shoulders, sleeve measurement, arm measurement.
In the past, it appeared the uneducated were the ones who learnt the trade of tailoring, but today, basic education is absolutely important. The knowledge of mathematics is more important.
When I was going to learn, I didn't know math was important. But when I got to where I was going to learn, my boss started with basic measurements is waist plus 2 divided by 3. And I was like, excuse me, ma. Okay. She said, "Don't like waist measurement is exact waist plus 2 divided by 4 plus 1. And I was like, ma, this is my waist. She said, yes. She now said, okay, measure your waist. I told her, okay, 26 plus 2, 28. Divide by 4 plus 1. She said, yeah, let's put it on the tape. And we did. Spread it out. Why he gave me everything I needed, and I was like, excuse me.
Division and multiplication?
Now, this is the division. Your exact measurement, usually in tailoring, we fold into 4. We fold our fabric into 4. So when they take your entire circumference, that circumference has to be divided by 4.
Okay. I don't understand.
You don't understand.
So why don't you just add the 2 and move and not add the...
I can't explain that because I don't know how it will work.
Okay.
But over time, I've been working. But I have realized that no matter what, even when you are doing, some people do pattern. Like what I have done, some people will first do it on paper, cut everything out. They will cut the sleeve, cut the hip. They now start placing on the fabric. Now, those that do on pattern do not need to fold their fabric into 4. What they would have is this. They will now start placing their patterns. If they have cut their shoulder, they place their shoulder here, place their skirt here, place their bodice here, and they cut out. We will still arrive at the same thing.
Knowledge of math is not all that you need. Creativity is as important as the knowledge of the job itself.
It will be an advantage if we are very, very creative. If you are very, very creative. But if you can't be very, very creative, at least a little bit. I'm prepping up my machine for sewing. That's all.
Some machines come in different forms. Some could be electrical, while others may be manual. The use of a manual sewing machine comes in handy when electricity plays its game.
Because this is a manual sewing machine, I have to run it myself, unlike the electric one.
Let's meet Nkoyo Akpan, a business educator turned fashion designer.
I went into fashion designing because I have the passion. I enjoy sewing. I just enjoy doing it. That's why I went into fashion design. Yes. But I think one of the main reasons that really got me into fashion designing was finding a tailor that could really make outfits that I would like way then. So when I discovered a particular lady who could do it, but she was expensive, and as a student I couldn't really afford her so much. So I went to her and asked her how much will it be for me to train as a fashion designer. Then she said, okay, it's going to be so and so amount. I then put together all the money and paid and learned how to sew, because I knew with that I was going to be able to make my outfit by myself. But the pressure started coming when I started making things for myself, and my friends saw it. They were like, oh, can you make for me? So when I started making some money out of it, I had to get into it, yeah.
Although every designer has their style, some decide to make use of a pattern before sewing begins.
So like here I have master patterns of my clients. These are the master patterns of my clients. Like say if I want to produce an outfit for Grace Okoye, so her name is here. So what I do, I take her master pattern. This is her master pattern. I hope that will be clear enough for you to see. So I have a master pattern here. So you see that the body shape has already been drawn out on the master pattern. So what I do is trace this out, put another paper at the back, use my tracing wheel. So this is my tracing wheel. So I'll trace it on the other paper, then fold this one back. So I'll be working on the other paper. I'll be using the other paper to interpret the style that I want. So that's how pattern really works.
Nkoyo takes us through that process.
To draft the pattern, you need the pencil, you need the eraser, you need the French curve, you need the hip curve, and the straight ruler. So I'll take your measurements now. That's about it.
That's a lot of work.
The issue of math comes up again, showing how important it is for beginners to have a knowledge of basic math.
Yes, you have to. So if you've been running away from math and you think you want to be a tailor, even if it's freehand, you have to face it. So I'll do 107 divided by 2. That's 53.5. Then 101 divided by 2, 50 points.
Knowing a good tailor is one thing. Knowing how much the tailor is worth is another.
I mentioned clients to having to understand why you're charging a particular amount for a particular style, especially for upcoming fashion designers like us. You know, sometimes when you're charging, all they are looking at is how much lining are you using. Apart from the lining, they are not talking about any other thing. and that's a bit of a challenge. So sometimes you have to sit down and begin to break down, okay, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that. But over time, I've learned not to really go into that. I just tell them, okay, this is how much you're going to charge. So for those that are comfortable and understand why they should pay, we'll stay.
Let's meet Okpeoluwa Egbetayo, Creative Director at Style, a graduate of Geography from the University of Lagos.
Introduction to sewing was at NYSC camp. So when I finished, all through my youth service year, I used it to understand the process, learn how to sew. So all through while I was serving, I would serve in the morning, and in the evenings, I'll go to my tailoring school and learn how to sew. Then when I came back, I realized that I wanted more. I wanted to be a professional. I wanted to know this thing for myself. I didn't want a situation where I'll be a half-baked person. So I went back to school. I went to Yaba College of Technology, and I studied dressmaking, industrial design. I majored in dressmaking. I would say that fashion chose me. You know, I remember the first day I stepped on a sewing machine. I was at NYSC camp, and then I was going to Mami Market to just go and chill, like after all the drills and everything, you know that stuff now. So on my way to Mami Market, I saw a group of people sketching, and I was waiting for someone. So they caught my interest, and I'm like, oh, let me see what these people are doing. And they gave me a paper. I remember they told me to sketch a skirt, a pencil skirt, whichever way I could. And since then, I haven't looked back. At the moment, you know, when I say that I have done this formally for 5 years, I tried my hands on many kinds of fashion, but although still in the female clothing brand. But right now, our focus is on women's workwear. So my specialty is workwear for women.
Creating the design is usually the first step.
Sketching the design at any time. So we usually have collections. Sometimes I'm at a party, sometimes I'm cooking, and the design comes to mind, and I just put it down. So I have a notepad most of the time with me. Sometimes I use my phone. I just create the designs. Then what I'll do is, next thing is you put some color on it. So you have an idea what it will look like, what kind of fabric color would work best with what I've drawn.
Now the pattern, an important aspect of dressmaking.
When we've designed the collection, what we want to show out, then we adapt our patterns to this design. We have size charts for size 6 all the way to 24. After that, when we have made this design into the patterns for each of the sizes we plan to sell for that cloth, then we go into production. We want to produce it in this gray color. So we'll place the pattern that we have cut on the amount we want to cut. So now I want to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of the size 10. So I'll place this on the fabric, and somebody cuts through. That's it.